All right, it's going. All right, cool. Hey, everybody. This is Jared Benson with Model Realty, and today we are going to be at Walsh Ranch out in Aledo, Texas. I want to do a drive-through of the neighborhood and point out some of the cool features, tell you about the neighborhood. Right now, we're going to start over here on Model Home Row. There's a couple of model homes over here. We're starting at the David Weekley model home. And we're going to take a look at this. This is a huge neighborhood already, going to be really big. One of the key features, one of the great things about this neighborhood is its proximity to downtown Fort Worth. So from Walsh Ranch, kind of proper, actually inside the neighborhood, it's like 17 minutes to downtown. Now, if you look at their website, they're going to talk about it being like 12 minutes, but they're kind of mapping it from the exit to the edge of downtown, so it's not exactly accurate, but it's great. So the size of this neighborhood is at full build out. There's going to be about 15,000 homes. Now, we're nowhere near that right now, but it's going to be, it's a master planned community is what it is. So it has its own elementary school that we're going to drive past. It has a junior high that it feeds into, and then it feeds into Aledo High School. So the whole thing's in Aledo ISD, and we're going to show you some of the amenities real quick. So near the front of the neighborhood, you have the biggest, most of their amenities when it comes to like the pool and the gym. So we're going to take a look. You got an awesome pool here with some like really almost like resort style setup with these canopies and tents and coverings. You've got a slide, you got multiple slides, a kiddie pool section, and then you've got some outdoor space. You've got a sand volleyball court right here, and I'm waiting for this guy to back into his parking spot before I can keep going. But we have what's really is calling it a gym doesn't do it justice, and they call it an athletic club, and it really is. It's almost like a full commercial gym setup over here. We're not going to go in, but you can kind of see through. I mean, they have weight machines and ellipticals and everything else. All sorts of machines and setups for this. They have a kids' play space. I think they actually keep that staffed and have some like light child care for you to work out. And if we turn around over here to the right, you're going to see the maker space. The maker space is a really cool spot. I'll touch on it, but they have like CNC machines, 3D printing machines, woodworking stuff, and so this is pretty cool. Now we're gonna circle back and kind of backtrack a little bit so we can go by the elementary school. But you can see they have a community greenhouse that you can grow stuff in. I think they compost. They have activities throughout the month here. So a lot of great services over here. Now, if we talk about the size of this, and you'll see as we drive, we're gonna drive around this neighborhood. It's a pretty good size. Eventually, there's going to be 7,200 acres is what this full development is going to encompass. Currently, I think they're developing about 1,700 based on what their website is saying right now. So that's currently about 1,700 acres. And when full build out is achieved, 2,300 acres of the 7,200 are just going to be green space. And you'll see there's a lot of green space over here. So you have Founders Park over here on the right. That's where all their kind of entry flags are. We're going to swing you back over here to the left. And they actually have their own gas station and convenience store. I think there's a little coffee shop in there as well. So, there's only a couple of convenient gas stations on the way to downtown Fort Worth. So this is a nice spot to fill up, once you get home or before you leave the neighborhood. So over here, we're going to drive past some of these homes. These are some of the kind of the standard single family stuff. Now, these are all rear entry. They did do these a little bit to be kind of prominent based on this main drive through that we're on, Walsh Avenue. So again, one of the huge draws, one of the huge benefits of Walsh is that even though some of the services are by Fort Worth, you're actually in Aledo ISD. You have your own elementary school in this master plan community. So Walsh Elementary is right here. We're driving past it. Now, obviously, anybody in this community, it feeds into Walsh. There's a neighboring community. It's a little bit smaller than this one. It also feeds into Walsh, but it's also new and built out. So we're going to take a look at some of the different style of homes as we're driving through. We're going to hop by a couple of the parks. But Walsh is, like I said, about 17 minutes from downtown Fort Worth. So it's west of Fort Worth, right off of 30. So we're going to drive through here. You see a couple of townhomes. As we're driving through, if I can pay attention to where I'm driving, we've got green space, some drainage. And we're going to come over, we're going to turn left right here on off Domingo. And actually, we're going to drive past a fair amount of construction. I mean, homes are constantly going up over here. When I last checked, the average price of homes that have sold in Walsh Ranch are around $600,000. If you're looking, I believe that was the pre-owned homes. So you got some good big homes. We've got a lot of different builders. So these are some garden homes we're driving past right now. You have some townhome / duplex setups. So, and then I like these garden homes because they have these walks out here. So you kind of have just green space in front with sidewalks that you share with your neighbors, and your garages are rear entry. So it's kind of a neat setup. So real quick, so some of the amenities we already talked about, the athletic club, the makerspace, but you have a number of parks, and we're going to drive past Lake Park right now. So Lake Park is on a hill. We're not actually going to get a great view, great shot of this park over here on the left because this whole hill slopes down, and the park is built into the hill. They utilize it really well. They have like a slide that stays like 1 foot off the ground, but it's a big slide because it goes downhill. They have a playground that you enter it from the top and it goes down, swings, and you overlook this really nice little lake over here. One of the cool things is they actually have bathrooms at a lot of their parks. So you don't have to run home if you haven't got to go to the bathroom, or your kids do. Now the HOA includes some cool stuff. It includes all the amenities we talked about. It includes front lawn maintenance, and then what they call like white glove trash service. Like they actually will pull your trash to the street on trash days. And then it includes high-speed internet, like 2 gigabytes per second download speeds. So really high fiber optic internet speeds. All right, so we're gonna keep going. We're gonna take a look at some of these. And then you even just have some green space. So this isn't even a park, but it's just some nice green space to space out these homes, give you some space, and a better view, not feel like you're totally encompassed by your neighbors. So right now we're driving through mostly single family homes. Right up here, we're gonna turn into the a townhome section. So the townhomes are kind of spread throughout. They're not all shoved in one location, but this is like a townhome street. And actually it looks really nice. So we're gonna drive in here, we're gonna do a loop, but you can see over here, you've got these townhomes, and some of these are 3 units per building, some are 2 units per building, and you go up to as much as 4 units per building in these townhomes in the Walsh neighborhood. So we're gonna do this one loop right here, and all of these are 4. These are really big, nice, styled brick homes. I'm gonna pull out my cheat sheet with some of the other stuff I've got. So you've got townhomes, you've got garden homes, you've got single family residences, and at the end of the video, end of the tour, we are going to drive past the custom home section of the neighborhood. So that area, homes are million plus, whereas average homes, actually when Walsh was opened, this neighborhood, you could buy homes for as low as $400,000. Now, you're not really going to find that anymore unless you're looking at a smaller townhome, but there's always homes that are being sold over here. There's lots of new construction. We're actually going to drive past some concrete being poured in a minute. And right now we're headed to Overlook Park, which is a pretty cool park. So we talked about the price ranges. We talked about the types of homes that are built out here. You've got a bunch of builders that are building over here. We have Village Homes, Britton Homes, Drees Custom Homes, Highland Homes, David Weekley Homes, High Street Homes, Toll Brothers, Perry Homes. So I have not worked with every builder out here. I've worked with a couple. David Weekley is the most recent builder that I helped the client purchase with They had a great experience. And we're going to loop around this park right here. So this is Overlook Park. You see here's a Village Homes home being constructed right now. They've got the exterior on there. They probably need to brick the bottom part of that. Here is another Village Homes. It's a little further on. And as we loop around, we'll be able to see, you see the Overlook, the junior high over there. You've got homes in varying states of construction. And then you've got Overlook Park, this big hill with the park kind of built into the backside. You've got some swings and some play stuff. So look at that big long slide right there. That looks awesome. You know, it's almost like a rock wall built into that hill. I've got little kids and they would just love this stuff. So we're going to keep going. You've got plenty of walking trails between and behind homes. So these are mostly single family residences we have over here. And then one of the really neat things about this neighborhood is even just like when I've mentioned it, the green space. So we're actually going to drive around a lot of these streets, and the neighborhood design is kind of contoured around the natural topography of where water would flow. So you had this huge acreage, and you had creeks that ran through it or drainage ways. And so right in front of us, you see this big open space. Well, we've got homes on either side, and either side, these homes back up to the green space, and then there's walking trails. So it's nice to see how they have really developed this in a friendly, even though the neighborhood's big, it's walkable, it's enjoyable, there's a good sense of community over here. Walsh really is one of the premier master planned community west of Fort Worth, especially considering that it feeds into Aledo ISD. So we're going to keep looping around here. I think this is where we're going to drive past very carefully this truck that is pouring concrete. So you see Toll Brothers is still building over here. It's a sign we just passed. We drove past a David Weekley new construction. You know, so these homes are getting some good space between each other. Big sidewalks, big lots over here. This is going to be a really neat style home built up on these retaining walls. You know, you can get homes with definitely with 3-car garages is available out here, which a lot of times I feel like builders, when they're shoving homes into these big neighborhoods, they don't make space for it. But depending on your price point you're looking at, you will be able to get homes with 3-car garages. So we're going to keep going. I'm looking at my map, make sure I'm going the right way. But we're heading to Zipline Park. And as the name would suggest, there is a zip line in it. So right up here in front of us and on the right, you're going to see another park. It has bathrooms, it has water fountains, it has like a log climbing structure. You see that zip line way over there on the far side of the park. It has canopies and water spaces for younger kids. Really neat space. I mean, you got your sidewalk and walking trails. So we've really only made one good loop through the neighborhood, and we're almost done with the main neighborhood. You can see a lot of trails between neighborhoods to help people get to parks without having to drive. Lots of space to walk. Now up here on the right, we are going to come past the model homes again. And after we drive past these model homes, I will eventually do a video for each of these builders. They've really got some good amenities in their homes. David Weekley builds a great home. Again, had a great experience with them with my last client. My client was very happy. They were easy to work with. But now we are going to go check out this custom home section. And I know you won't be able to see it well, but in the video, if you look at those homes all the way out there, you may be able to tell how big they look. And that's because they're big. So we're going to check these out on our way out of the neighborhood. I'll give you a few more. One of the neat things about Walsh is that they have so many different home styles. I mean, this is what's listed on their website, and I couldn't even explain what all of these are, but they have, the styles range from arts and crafts, colonial revival, Mediterranean, mid-century modern. They have modern farmhouse, which is probably one of my favorite styles of these new construction homes. Texas vernacular, I do like the Texas style homes. Tudor and transitional. And so I've already mentioned it before, but really one of the awesome things about Walsh Ranch is that you can live very close to downtown, 20-minute drive with light traffic, and you can be in one of the best school districts in DFW. They are, I believe, 5A, which is the second largest school district in second largest size schools in Texas. 6A is now the largest, but they have won multiple state championships in football. They are just really well known for their football program in particular, but their academics are good as well. And so now we're going to come up here to this custom home section and check this out. So before we're done, I did also want to talk about taxes. So taxes in Walsh are just a tad above average. So average in kind of the Fort Worth Metroplex, I typically tell people about 2.7%. Their base tax is 2.86, so just a tad above that. 2.68 is their base tax. But they have a PID, a public improvement district, that they're taxing the money that had to be spent for Fort Worth to bring utilities out here. So that PID will eventually go away. That's about 0.18%, which brings up your total tax rate to like 2.86, which is still below some places. Some places in Fort Worth are as much as 2.9%. So taxes are still reasonable, and we're going to drive through. We see these homes over here. We have H.O.A. Homes. That's one of their custom home builders. We have GSM Systems. There may be the masonry. I think that's a H.O.A.'s home as well. Mark Farmer Custom Homes. Some really high-end stuff over here. You can see, like, this guy has like 6 bays in his garage, the home we just drove past. So I'm having to squeeze through here. But a lot of construction going on. These are very nice homes. Park Hill Homes is another of these custom guys. These big trucks are making this a tight squeeze. So these are big custom-sized lots. I mean, these lots can be as much as 100 feet wide, which is huge. You've got family names on their signs. Really a great experience that you would have building over here, buying over here. You've got kind of this Mediterranean style, your tile roofs. So really neat section if you are looking for a high-end custom luxury home, and you would like to have some of the newer amenities, which you won't find in some of the other homes like this. This part of Walsh, in Walsh Homes, it's called Zipline Park. It's kind of the little section. This is a great place to consider. So, yep, you see all sorts of levels of construction. Still got some vacant lots over here. And one of the last things that's really cool, they actually have, I jokingly say, their own urgent care. So they have Cook Children's Urgent Care, Walsh Ranch. So Cook Children's, one of the world-renowned pediatric hospitals or children's hospitals, built an urgent care right off the highway for this community. So I have friends that work there, and just it's a really great location. So as we wrap this up, thanks for checking this out. If you are interested in Walsh or even anywhere in Aledo ISD or Aledo, reach out. Again, my name's Jared Benson. I'm the broker for Model Realty and would love to help some neighbors. I live not in Walsh Ranch, but right down the road. I live in Aledo. So let me know if I can help you. Thanks for watching.